Every good film or show has a leading protagonist, and what they need to drive them and motivate them to do good is have a counteracting antagonist. In other words, a villain. In today's Flop 10, we are going to be ranking my top 10 villains in film and TV. Brutal, sadistic, and an unpredictable tyrant. No, I'm not talking about your mum, I'm talking about the first person on our list, Joffrey Baratheon. Becoming King of Westeros in season 1 of Game of Thrones, this nasty piece of work left his mark on the world and left audiences riled up and infuriated with his acts of evil.
Good. Tongue it is.
Your Grace, please. I won't. Your Grace.
A man, boy, who lacked all self-control and was incredibly impulsive with his disgusting decisions, and when something potentially came back to bite him, he would cower away in fear. There's nothing quite like a horrible villain that can't fight their own fights. There is also nothing better than seeing that villain get their comeuppance. Season 4, Episode 2 saw the end of Joffrey in an extremely deserving, graphic way, being poisoned in front of his family and people, leaving his mother Cersei completely helpless in trying to save him. Good riddance. Number 9. It's time for the god of mischief, Loki. First appearing in the MCU in 2011's Thor, we first saw him become the proper big bad in 2012's Avengers Assemble. With a desire to take over Earth, there isn't many bigger villainous acts going. It doesn't get more frightening than an insecure, jealous god of deceit who has enormous daddy issues. We see Loki, without a second thought, controlling innocent people with the Mind Stone in his scepter, using them as pawns to further his own desires. Not to mention he's a massive narcissist who has extreme main character syndrome, believing he is burdened with glorious purpose and thus is deserving of ruling over the human race.
I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
He does, however, get put straight, and over many years we now see him in the MCU finally fulfilling this glorious purpose by saving the timelines as we know it in Loki Season 2. He's not just a great villain, he's a fantastic, well-rounded and complicated character that Marvel fans have come to love. Number 8. Breaking Bad may go down as the best TV show of all time. This isn't just due to the fantastic character and development of our main character Walter White, performed by Bryan Cranston, it's also greatly due to the drug lord himself, Gustavo Fring, played by Giancarlo Esposito. He's first introduced to us under the guise of an accommodating owner of the fast food chain store Los Pollos. However, it doesn't take long for us to realize there is much more to this character. He puts forward a pleasant front at times, but if you cross him or do him wrong, he is ruthlessly cruel and final with his actions. For me, the writing is a massive reason why this character is as good as he is, but the performance of Giancarlo Esposito himself really elevates it tenfold.
Fired. Do not show your face at the laundry again.
He obviously also reprises the role in A Better Call Saul, where you see him really truly develop into the drug lord kingpin that he is. He's one of my favourite villains of all time. Number 7. It felt wrong not to include a classic Disney villain within this list, seeing how there are so many great ones. None better in my eyes than Scar, the power-hungry, ruthless and scheming brother to the king of the land, Mufasa. I actually don't know if I need to say too much for this one. He literally kills his brother and in his mind kills his nephew Simba. It don't get much worse than that. He of course does this because he wants to take the throne.
Long live the king.
It's actually quite funny, a lot of these villains that we've spoken about and will talk about, their main motivation is just power. They want to be on top of the throne, on top of the food chain, and they'll do anything to get it. Let me know, is Scar the best Disney villain, or is there someone better that I haven't mentioned or forgotten about? Leave a comment down below. Bit of a different one here, it's more of a personal pick within this Flop 10. It's number 6, Annie Wilkes from the film Misery. I first watched this film with my parents when I was younger, and there was something about this character that really unsettled not just me, but many viewers who have seen the film. She is a crazed fan of the writer Paul Sheldon, who wrote the book series Misery. Unfortunately for Paul, on his trip back to the city, where he was going to show the final draft of the final book in the series, he crashes in a snowstorm. Annie comes to his aid, feeding him and letting him rest and heal in her spare room. It's only over time we notice Annie doesn't seem to have any plans to let Paul leave. Her obsession grows stronger and we see more into her character and how her temper can most certainly spark. The scene for me that puts her in this spot is when she knows Paul was trying to escape, so she literally incapacitates him, breaking his legs with a sledgehammer with a little bit of wood in between. Seriously, when this bit happened, you see the foot. That finished me off. I had to run upstairs. I literally ran upstairs, ran downstairs, and I was just like, I can't believe what I just saw. We learn her crimes go even further than what we have seen when Paul finds a newspaper article about her eliminating babies and the elderly when she was a nurse. A nasty piece of work. Number 5. The man who must not be named, Voldemort. The wizarding powerhouse whose aim was to rid the world of muggles, non-magical people, and to conquer the wizarding world to achieve pure blood dominance. Sounds a little bit familiar, doesn't it? Due to hearing a prophecy of the chosen one who was born and would be able to defeat him, he went out of his way to kill this very baby.
I'm going to kill you, Harry Potter. I'm going to destroy you. After tonight, no one will ever again question my powers.
Yes, he was going to kill a baby. That's villainous enough to be on this list alone. But he was unsuccessful because he was thwarted by Harry Potter's parents, who sacrificed themselves to save their boy. Voldemort was merely a myth, a horrible story that people didn't want to believe at the start of the films. But as we see in the series, he is resurrected using dark magic and continues his horrific acts with his team of Death Eaters. It's a great performance from Ralph Fiennes, and he is most certainly one of the most iconic villains in all of media. Number 4. We've already spoken about a narcissistic, self-centered, insecure power freak before, but there is arguably none greater than Homelander. The main antagonist in the TV series, The Boys, is a ruthless killing machine. If you cross him, even for a second, even if he deems you a close friend, he will end you without a second thought. But why is he so high up on this list? For me, he is one of the most frightening villains in this list. Whenever he steps foot on camera, the scene instantly leaves audiences on edge, anticipating him to lose his cool and wreak havoc on anyone who stands within a 5-meter radius.
Starlight lied to you just now. She did. I don't make mistakes. I'm not just like the rest of you. I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better.
Just off the top of my head, I can think of 5 or 6 scenes where you truly see him for what he is, an evil, evil geezer. How about the time when he went on top of the building to prevent someone from jumping off, for PR reasons, but when he got some bad news, he then told them to jump. He said, "Do it. If you don't, I'm gonna laser you." What sort of sick freak does that? Or how about when he decided to leave a crashing plane and everyone on board, as it would be a bad look if they only managed to save 1 or 2 people? He's horrible and vile, but the performance from Anthony Starr is arguably the best on this list. He is fantastic in this role and truly makes the character what he is. Especially in my opinion in the scenes where you see Homelander's personality split and him enraged at himself. It's a fantastic, complicated character who will do anything to maintain his place on top of the food chain. He is, Homelander. Disgusting. Number 3. When thinking of any hero and villain partnership, the first you probably think about is Batman and his greatest foe, the Joker. The psychopathic clown who finds great humor in the suffering of others. He is seen by many as the complete opposite of Batman in every way. His mere aim at times, it seems, is to taunt our protagonist and test Batman's self-control and drive him to his very, very limits. The most iconic performance of the Joker is arguably Heath Ledger's performance in The Dark Knight, which many put down in their top 3 favorite superhero films of all time.
No, you complete me.
So of course this iconic character will be in this list. We also have many renditions of this character, Mark Hamill's animated one, but more specifically the 2019's Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. This introspection into the Joker's psyche and how he gets to where he is in my opinion fantastic and puts this character into a different light. He's a multifaceted villain that, like many in this list, have little to no regard of the pain they cause to those around them. An iconic villain. Number 2. The MCU's biggest bad going, Thanos. A titan with not just great power, but great monologues. Josh Brolin really does pop off when he gets into the meaty parts of the script.
Now it's here. Or should I say, I am.
But enough about that. Thanos for me has to be in the top 3 for a bunch of different reasons. This is the villain that the MCU built up for over 10 years, giving us hints and post-credit scenes teasing his arrival. But what really makes him so great is he absolutely fucked up Hulk. Now, I'm joking, but Loki barely any Infinity Stones and he dealt with Hulk with ease. It was quite a scene to see at the beginning of Infinity War. What makes Thanos a top 3 for me is his motivations. It isn't power or a need to be known by the masses. It's to save the universe in the best way that he sees fit, by removing half of all life within it. To him, it's the only way to save the universe, as resources are finite and population was outgrowing the supply that was there. It just happens to be an astronomical loss of life that any being with morals would just not do. but he has his mind set, and what makes it even better, he achieves his goal. He completes his mission, and we are left in a world where the villain wins. This doesn't even touch on the fact that his actual power he has and the elite weapon and the Infinity Gauntlet is goated. He was the big bad, and he never disappointed. He was fantastic. If you disagree, tell me why, because top 3, no debate. Before we get to the number 1 spot, make sure you drop a sub right now for more great content like this. I do just want to give a shout out before we get to number 1 to one villain who completely destroyed me and wrecked me when I was younger. That is, of course, The Walking Dead's Negan. That scene, that episode, that cliffhanger, everything about it was unreal. The performance from Jeffrey Dean Morgan as this character arguably is the best of all of these on this list, but unfortunately I couldn't put him on into the top 10. But what a character. Finally though, in our number 1 spot is none other than Darth Vader. Voiced by the late, great James Earl Jones, whose voice completely captivates the audience and is the definition of iconic. Darth Vader is the epitome of a great villain, an intimidating leader who uses fear to control others and lead his empire. But what makes this character great is the backstory. It's who he was before the bad. The Chosen One, powerful Jedi who was deemed to save the Force, Anakin Skywalker, but he was manipulated and turned by the great Sith Lord Emperor Palpatine and was turned to the dark side. But after all of this, at the end of the original trilogy, we see deep down he is still good. He was still Anakin Skywalker, and he sacrifices himself to kill Emperor Palpatine, allowing the universe to restore order. Just forget about the sequels, okay? Just forget about it. When you think of iconic villains, you think Darth Vader. He truly is the first name that people say. We also see his true ferocious power in the Kenobi series, when he brings down the ship just merely using the Force. We also see his disregard for life around him when he's got a mission at hand. We just saw his true evilness, there's no other way of saying it. He's an incredible villain, and I haven't even touched on him giving us the biggest twist in cinema history. I am your father. There's nothing there's nothing greater than that. None of these have a line like that. None of them. He's my number 1. Let me know if you disagree in the comments down below. There you have it. That's my flop 10 for the best villains in film and TV. Let me know if you disagree with anything I put, and if I forgot any villains, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you when I see you.